You have your own podcast and you want to edit audio on every episode by yourself. You don't want to pay for a podcast editor, podcast producer, or an AI tool, etc. You can do that by yourself using just one tool called Adobe Audition. And I will show you how to edit a podcast in a second. Guys, hello! My name is Michael from Micro Audio, and today I will show you how to create a podcast, how to edit a podcast which you are already recorded. Let's jump into the Adobe Audition, which I will pull out. And here I have an AI-generated voice which says something like this.
Ever wondered how your favorite podcast sounds so polished and professional?
Alright, so let's first things first. What we're going to talk about today is going to be all about editing a podcast. So first of all, you need to import audio files into the Adobe Audition. Let's say you already recorded them on your phone, on your recorder, or maybe even on your PC. In the second step, we will edit the content, remove breaths, remove silences, etc. Then we will remove the background noise. After that, we will level it nicely and normalize it. And for the final thing, we will do some advanced stuff as well. Add intro, add outro, add background music. We will enhance your voice a little bit and finally add mastering and export it to a one-of-a-kind item. I won't go too deep about it, but I just want to show you how it's done. Then I will cover all of these steps very detailed in some other video. So let's dive in. I just pulled this piece of audio. So how did I pull it here? I just pulled it right, it's here in my library, and I just place it here and it's here. So that's the audio file which we are using. When I click File, New, Multi-track session, and now you will probably have none right here. Let's just add a name, test podcast, and hit OK. So right now we are inside of the multi-track inside of the Adobe Audition, and the multi-track is used to have different layers of audio one on top of each other, because you will probably have in one track your voice, in another track your host's voice, in another track you will probably have some background music, etc. Let's now start with the voice itself. We now inserted the audio, and let's go to the second step, which is audio editing. From the multi-track right here on this left side, I have this files section where all my files are going to appear. As you can see, this right here is my audio, my voice. Here will be your audio as well, which you imported and recorded somewhere else. First of all, let's talk about those. I'm not doing that for any other fact. I'm doing it because that's what the audio has. The voice usually has those nasty clicks like those, and it's very easy to remove them inside of the Adobe Audition. We will go to Effects, then Noise Reduction, Restoration, and then we will go for Automatic Click Remover. Click it on it, and then you have Threshold and Complexity. Feel free to copy my settings if you want. So go for 22 right there and 77 right here. And what does that mean? That every click that it's above 22 decibels, it will be reduced. And the complexity is a thing inside of the Adobe Audition, inside of its, I don't know, head or something, from which it thinks about what really is a click and what it's not. So if something is not a click, then it will remove also some other parts of your voice. Let's keep it briefly like that. So you can copy my settings. I used these settings for more than 3 years on many different voices, and everything was great. Hit apply, and that's all. Probably the clicks are now gone. I didn't have so much clicks because this is AI generated voice right here. We removed clicks. Let's now remove the pauses. We can go and remove pauses just by listening to every single piece of the audio, we are seeing a pause right here. How do we know that something is paused? Because it's a flat line. This right here are waves of the voice, and you can zoom to each section by clicking on this little icon here. Zoom out to go out and zoom in to go in. I'm doing it just by scrolling my finger over the small wheel on your mouse, if you have it. If you don't have it on the touchpad, you can also just drag and drop, etc. Let's now remove those pauses. For example, you can just mark this selection and hit backspace, and it will be deleted. You can go right here, and you can also mark it and then click delete if you don't want a backspace to use. And that's great. What you need to be I will just undo those changes. What you need to be care about is that don't go too close to the end of this sentence, but leave it open. Because, for example, a word pet, it has that T at the end, that t. And when you are talking normally, that pet is going to be very small on the waveform. And if you delete it, the word will become pe instead of pet. Do you understand? So be careful about that. So don't go like this. Always leave some room, and that's all. If you have probably you're thinking right now, but I have a voice with 45 minutes. How will I delete all of this audio right here? There is a cool step which is called diagnostics. You can go to effects, then diagnostics, and go to delete silence. And now you have this amazing preset called cleanup podcast interview. We will click this one, and as you can see, you don't have to worry too much about these settings right here. Basically what it means is define silence as signal below -42 decibels for more than, what is that, half of a second. So wherever the signal is longer than half second, and I can see how long it is, you can also see by this duration right here. So ignore all of these files here. That's the main number. So as you can see, I'm dragging it down, I'm dragging it left or right, and it decreases and increases. So wherever the sound is -42 or less for more than half seconds, the software will delete that audio. And how do we know what is -42 decibels? On this scale right here, if you zoom in, you will start to see that there are some numbers. And here is -60. So imagine that this line right here is -60. So everything below -60 will be deleted. We have -42. So -42 is this line right here, for example. And anything below that line is going to be defined as silence. On the other way, we have defined audio as signal above -41 for more than 25 milliseconds. So that's for that T sound or something like that. And because of that, all the silences will be deleted and audios will be left out. Let's go and hit scan. So I have only, I think, three problems detected. And if I hit right here, you can see that it catches this right here. What I don't like is, as you can see, it also has impact on the end of this line right here. So I will put the signal is below a little bit less, like 50 let's put it 56, and let's hit scan once again. And now, as you can see, it's way different. So it's not right here anymore, it's right here. And that's good because this word will stay impacted. And if I hit, I have some other lines right here. As you can see, here is this one as well. And let's go and hit delete all, and boom, all the silences which were more than half a second and where the signal was below -56 were deleted. If you don't want to mess up with deleting silences, you can shortening them as well. All the silences which are within this range will be shortened for the amount you specify right here. Let's undo what happened right here, and so they were half a second, that's 250 milliseconds, that's 500 milliseconds, and let's now do the 250. And let's click shorten all, and now you will have, as you can see, you have around 250 milliseconds right here, and you don't have 500 anymore. So that's very useful for finding the proper levels of your track, and because sometimes the silence is great, but because, you know, when a person is talking, for example, David Attenborough usually has some silences in his voice, or Morgan Freeman, and if you cut out those silences, you may end up with a very bad audio because it won't sound natural. And because of that, we don't want to remove all the silences and remove them forever. So be aware of that. Once we did that, that's actually all. Pauses won't be too long, the clicks are gone, and what we need to do next is to reduce the noise. The easiest way to do so is to go noise reduction, and now you have noise reduction process, you have denoise, and you have adaptive noise reduction. My favorite one is denoise because it's the simpler one. Just here, whenever you go, put this number to the 0 and start.
Will elevate your audio game.
And start playing your audio. I don't have any noise right here in the moment, but you will start to hear as you increase this fader right here, the audio will be more and more compressed and the noise will actually be more and more gone. Probably some parts of your sentences are going to be eliminated as well. So be careful about it. Don't go too high or too low on these numbers right here. I won't talk too much about focusing. Most of the time I'm using it for the voice recordings and for the podcast. I'm using it on that flat, or it's affected. All frequencies are affected. However, if you do have an option, if you do have an audio where there is the same noise all the time, for example, a noise, you know, that psst, which is happening from the microphone and from the buzzing, etc., that noise is always the same, then you can go with the effects noise reduction process. And what are you going to do here? You will tell the Adobe Audition, hey, this is the noise I want to capture, eliminate this noise from the entire take. And how will you say it? You will find a piece of, let's say that this piece right here, I will make it very loud. That's something. So let's pretend that that's noise. And you will mark it like this and click Capture Noise Print. Once you do that, the Adobe Audition will tell you, oh, that's the noise print. That's how the noise actually looks like in its eyes. And then you will hit Select Entire File. And when you do that, you can play with noise reduction and for how much the noise should be reduced by. It's a little bit complex thing, but be careful and you will have it in no time. Probably you will go with something modest for around 3 to 4 decibels here and with around 50 to 60 decibels If your audio is impacted here, that's great. Leave it as it is and let's go further. All right? I'll make another video with just for noise reduction. Once we did all of that, what we can do, we can start playing with this podcast. Let's now insert this podcast. So we were here, I just clicked on my multi-track, you can go right here and insert this podcast here. What we're going to do now is we will add an intro and outro. I have one piece of music. Actually, yeah, I have one piece of music right here. Alright, I will use this music as an intro file, and what I did, I just take it from here and place it over here on the second track. I see that second track says right here. I will now drag this voice right here. How? I will place my mouse on top of it, and with the right click, I will click the right click and move it with the mouse to here. And let's now hear how does it sound.
Ever wondered how your favorite podcast sounds?
Alright, we can remove it even more, like here.
Ever wondered how your favorite podcast sounds so polished and...
Alright, what we have now, it's actually almost great. Now we will add the outro as well. I will use another piece of music for that. So it's a piece of guitar, and I placed it here on the end, just by dragging it right here. Always leave a little bit of space, don't go too close to it. And if I listen to the last sentence...
and achieving that perfect balance.
It's already sounding very good. So that's the old outro. And what we can do now is to insert a background music file. So I have the background music file right here. I will just pull it right here and I will place it to start something like this. And let's hear it.
Ever wondered how your favorite podcast sounds so polished and professional? Well, today's your lucky.
Alright, so that's cool, but we almost can't hear anything from the voice. So let's reduce it by using this thing right here. I will reduce it to -14, maybe even more. Let's hear.
Sounds so polished and professional. Well, today's your lucky day. We're pulling...
That's great, but I think it's still a little bit above what is considered to be easily hearable. Let's take a listen again.
Sounds so polished and professional. Well, today's your lucky day. We're pulling...
Let's go a little bit more.
Sounds so polished and professional. Well, today's your lucky day. We're pulling back the curtain on the intricacies of podcast editing, sharing tips, tricks...
Great, that's sounding very nice. And let's now reduce this background music to the point where the outro starts. Go to the end of the background music track and this red line will appear, and just drag it to here. And then I will use this small thing here to do the fade out. Fade out and fade in are those points where it's slowly increasing and slowly decreasing. And now it's everything almost done.
And industry secrets that will...
Alright, and now we want to enhance our voice a little bit. Let's go to the voice track, let's go to effects, let's go amplitude and compression, and let's go for the speech volume leveler. Speech volume leveler will level the entire audio file on one track. You are doing this step at the very end, because if you're doing it at the start, we will have the noise and everything will also be raised as well, and that's going to sound muddy at the final take. So here are many different presets. We can go for careful, medium, soft, strong, whatever you want. We can go for soft, for example, and by the way, this icon here will show us the preview window. So everything what's happened everything what speech volume leveler did will show up right here. Let's increase target volume level. And as you can see, the voice is now more inside. It's more increased. And now we will increase the targeted dynamic range, just because we don't want those parts to be very, very loud. And these are breaths. Leveling amount, we will reduce it. And now we'll hit apply. The track is already sounding very nicely, but we will also add one more thing to it, and that's hard limiter, to make sure that no peaks are going in. We will hit -1 right here to maximum amplitude, because no audio will go above -1 decibel. And we will do a small boost just to make the voice a little bit louder as well. We'll go for 3 decibels right here. And hit that. Don't worry about look and release time. You can use, just like me, 7 milliseconds and 100 milliseconds. Hit apply, and as you can see, the audio is now more nicely, more leveled. Don't use this for singing, only for vocals, for podcasts, for commercials, etc. Let's now hear the entire track.
Ever wondered how your favorite podcast sounds so polished and professional? Well, today's your lucky day. We're pulling back the curtain on the intricacies of podcast editing, sharing tips, tricks, and industry secrets that will elevate your audio game. Whether you're a seasoned podcaster looking to refine your skills, or a newbie now at perfect balance.
So what we need to do next is, don't go to File and Export. Go to Multitrack, Mix down session to a new file, entire session. That's what we want to do, because we want to hear what does our final take actually looks like. And it looks like this, which is great, but it can be even better. Let's now do one more thing, and let's go to mastering. Default one. My default one is, for some reason, acting very weird. It says some different numbers. I have no idea why. Let's ignore that fact for a second. And so what the mastering is, it's adding the final polish to your audio. You can use the preset called Subtle Clarity, which is right here, which will add that extra little bit of reverb, a little bit of exciter as well, and a little bit of loudness maximizer, which will make your audio more compressed and sounding more professional. Use this tool with caution. Go here with the -1, because we want to go to the 0. We want to be a little bit below the 0, because the 0 is the ceiling and the point where the audio peaks. Once we have this, loudness maximizer is now fine. Let's now hear the take by pressing the play or hitting this button right here.
Ever wondered how your favorite podcast sounds so polished and professional? Well, today's your lucky day. We're pulling back the curtain on the intricacies of podcast editing.
From what I can hear right now is that my reverb is a little bit too high, so I will maybe remove it actually for all. You can do that whatever you want with this. Let's hit apply. And as you can see, the podcast is now done. If you're doing a very large episode, it will take a little bit more time than me, but you can do this by yourself. You don't need a podcast editor. If you do, I'm usually doing that thing, so please contact me if you want that I do a podcast editing for you, me or someone from my team. Yes, I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please let me know in the comments below. You can also paste your podcast link and please share it with me, and if you want, I will take a listen and I will share with you in the comments below an answer to the quality of your podcast as well. So yes, feel free to share your link in the comments down below, and I will make sure to listen to it and to answer it and to tell you what I think about it, about the sound quality as well. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.